It's all going down, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrone Bowman live. It is sports talk here on Tyrone Bowman live. Yes, we're going to do some things differently on this program this year. I'm going to be talking a lot about sports and music and entertainment, as well as politics and things that I normally talk about. I'm even going to incorporate the world of sports entertainment because I know there are a lot of people who love quote unquote professional wrestling and they want to keep you up on all the antics. See, I do have a wrestling channel, but I'm not really on that channel as much as I want to be there. So I'll incorporate it on this one main channel. Well, right now, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles getting rid of their offensive coordinator. And I'm going to be bringing this story from 4 different sources, from the Defector, ESPN, Fox Sports, and Reuters. So, well, I'm not subscribing to that. I don't want to. Let's talk about what happened with the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. This article was written for ESPN by Tim McManus. The Philadelphia Eagles have removed Kevin Patullo from the offensive coordinator's role. The team announced Tuesday, quote, "I have decided to make a change at offensive coordinator," end quote. Coach Nick Sirianni wrote in a statement, "I met with Kevin today to discuss the difficult decision, as he is a great coach who has my utmost respect. He has been integral to this team's success over the last 5 years, not only to the on-field product, but behind the scenes as a valued leader for our players and organization. I have no doubt he will continue to have a successful coaching career. Ultimately, when we fall short of our goals, that responsibility lies on my shoulders," end quote. Translated, you're fired. Because you did a pathetic job this season. That's why they got rid of him. He is the all guy for the dismal season that my Philadelphia Eagles have had. You were the defending NFL champions, and you were sabotaged by the OC. That's it. There was so much disunity and dysfunction among the Philadelphia Eagles this past season. There's no way they were going to win the NFC East. There's no way they were going to win a championship, not with all this stuff going on. A source told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Sirianni is open to keeping Patullo on his staff in a different role. Patullo, who is 44, was promoted from past game coordinator and associate head coach this offseason to replace Kellen Moore, now the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. The defending champion Eagles endured a sharp decline in offensive production. Scoring dropped from 22.7, ranked 7th, to 22.3, 19 to 19th points per game this season. Offensive efficiency dropped from 4th best in the league to 19th, and the Russian attack plummeted from 179 yards per game, second to 116.9 to 18th. The bottom line is the coordinator stank this season. All the wonderful platitudes and the way they're trying to talk about it. If he was so wonderful, they wouldn't be getting rid of him. They're getting rid of him because he is to be blamed for what he should have done and did not do it. The players weren't able to be themselves because he was calling the plays as the OC. If you are the OC, then you have to take responsibility for the failures of the team. Everything can't be put on the back of the quarterback. The quarterback can't win games by himself. That's why there's an infrastructure intact. And if he was so wonderful, they'd keep him in that role. And if he does stay in the Philadelphia Eagles franchise, believe me, it's going to be a much greater, lesser role. He will never be the OC again. Philadelphia has the most expensive offense in football, featuring the likes of, now listen to this, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts. But the operation lacked efficiency for much of the season, including in Sunday's 23-19 playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers. When you have all these top players, Barkley, Brown, Smith, and Hurts, you let them play, and especially when the season is on the line. You got to pull out all the stops, just like within the NBA. What is it, one and done? Win and go home. It's the same thing in the NFL. I'm no Stephen A. Smith when it comes to sports, but I know enough about sports to be able to talk intelligently about the game. And he's pathetic as an offensive coordinator. You got to go. Injuries along the offensive front. The Eagles were without all-pro right tackle Lane Johnson, Liz Frack for 7 games, while guard Landon Dickerson and center Cam Jurins, I probably mispronounced his name, I apologize, never appeared at full health, was a major factor. As an execution, a number of players pointed out, quote, I feel like Patullo did a great job, man, Smith said. A lot of the stuff is on us players. That may be true, but no, we're not going to put all the blame on the players. He's to be faulted as well. Now, we're not going to play politics here. We're not going to play football politics. That's just something Smith is just saying, but I'm saying he was terrible. I saw a number of the games, and I was wondering, like, what the heck is going on with Philadelphia? Why are the Eagles not performing? You can't perform well one year, and then the next year you come back as defending champions. Where's your mojo? Where is your power? Where is your unity? So now on the offseason, they got to regroup and come back in August and come back ready to play. Give the fans what they want. They want to see a winning season. Y'all know how Philadelphia is. Either they love you or hate you in Philadelphia. There's no middle ground. I'm from Philly. I know how Philadelphia is. You know, they love Cunningham, but they hated Cunningham. They love McNabb, but they hated McNabb. You know, they've gotten rid of several coaches. All right, Sirianni, you better up the ante. Up the ante, player. When you come back next season, come back ready to win. Hurts, who will be working with his 5th offensive coordinator since taking over as the full-time starter in 2021, declined to give Patullo a public endorsement when asked if he wanted Patullo back Monday. Now, what does that tell you? He is the 5th OC? Are you serious? Y'all better get somebody who is an effective OC, get a winning formula, and make it work. Quote, it's too soon to think about that, Hurts said, as the Eagles cleaned out their lockers. I put my trust in Howie, Nick, and Mr. Laurie. Now, that's the smart answer coming from the quarterback. Hurts is like, look, dude, the season is over. I got to go home. I got to rest up to think this thing over. Don't you know that you got to have football IQ to play this game at the same time? It's not just about muscles. It's not just about physicality. You're going to know how to strategically outwit the other team because the other team is coming to decimate you. You have to decimate them in your mind before you can decimate them on the field. Got to get your head back in the game. Patullo was on the Indianapolis Colts coaching staff when Sirianni served as their offensive coordinator 2018 to 2020 and joined him in Philadelphia when Sirianni was hired as head coach in 2021. Should have left you right in Indiana where you at. You should have stayed there. Sirianni, you should not have brought him to Philadelphia. You should have left him right down there in Indiana to continue to screw things up down there. And what did he do? He screwed stuff up down there, and he came to Philadelphia, and he did the same thing. During Super Bowl week in February, former Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett described Patullo as the team's unsung hero, noting he spearheaded the 2 minutes offense and was key in shaping the game plan behind the scenes each week. There were some bright spots during his season as offensive coordinator, as well, especially in the red zone where Philly led the league with a 70% touchdown rate. Well, guess what? It didn't happen this year. Go back and look at the season. How many games did Philadelphia lose? But the Eagles also led the league in 3-and-outs with hamstrung by penalties and lacked consistency. Of course they lacked consistency. They didn't have their head in the game. On Monday, Hurts talked about the need to have a home base for what we do moving forward. He expressed the desire to land on an identity at various times throughout the course of the season, but it never fully materialized. Tyrone Bowman live. Got to take a quick break. Thank you, everybody. Talking about how the Philadelphia Eagles got rid of Kevin Patullo, the OC. Well, when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. You know, you can't keep cuddling somebody if you don't think that they're doing the job that they were hired to do. It doesn't make good sense. You either produce or don't produce. You know, as a commentator, journalist, and writer working in the world of radio, either I'm up to the job or I'm not up to the job. It means I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of writing, I do a lot of researching all the time. As a law student, I read excessively, ladies and gentlemen. I have to know the fundamental aspect of what law is and what law is not. I must understand the constitutionality of the law. What the Declaration of Independence really means with its interpretative meaning behind it. That's why when I deal with political stuff here, and people think they know what they're talking about when it comes to me, I have to lay them out in the comment section because you really don't know what I know. I thoroughly research and do my homework. I don't come before this camera ill-prepared. And one thing Philadelphia Eagles lack is the fact that, let's just call it what it is. Don't make excuses. They did not have a good season. It doesn't mean you can't rebound. It doesn't mean you won't have a better season next year. It doesn't mean that you'll never have another Super Bowl. It just means that this year we didn't have a good season. Let's just call it what it is. The offensive coordinator has to take the fall, and the fall he shall take. Yes, point blank. Now, according to Fox Sports, their headline reads, in an article written by, who wrote this article? Well, it doesn't even have the person's name. Eagles part ways with OC Kevin Patullo after turbulent season for Philly's offense. For the fifth time in as many years, the Philadelphia Eagles will have a new offensive coordinator. The Eagles have parted ways with offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo after one season in the role. After one season, you got to go. The team announced today. The decision came 2 days after the Eagles' season-ending 23-19 loss to the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round. Philadelphia should have won that game, but they didn't. I was talking to some friends of mine before game time, and they asked me, did I think they were going to win? I said, if their mind is not in the game, they're not going to win this game. Forget about all the fanfare. Forget about the thousands of people out there. Forget about all the fans adoring you and loving you. Come to win. Celebrate later. Moments of celebration should never be before the game. You celebrate after you win. Quote, I have decided to make a change at the offensive coordinator, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni said in a statement. I met with Kevin today to discuss the difficult decision, as he is a great coach and blah, 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 blah. Patullo replaced Kellen Moore, who became the head of the New Orleans Saints last offseason, as the team sought to repeat as Super Bowl champs. That's the problem. You should have just come back this past season with the intent to have a good winning season. Don't set yourself up to fall like that. The Chiefs made that mistake. How about if you just come back next year and just have a great season? And if it so happens that you become the NFL champions, then it's all good. But have a great winning season. That's where a lot of athletes are making their mistake at. And from basketball to baseball, oh, we got to be the champs. You got to be the champs. How about if you just play the game? How about if you just enjoy the game and give the fans their money's worth? You know, you can learn a lot from the entertainment aspect of professional wrestling. They don't even call them wrestlers anymore. They call them sports entertainers because they're there to entertain the fans, and they know it, to put on a great show. And that's what the fans expect. They don't care if it's pre-scripted. Make it believable. They don't care if the wins are predetermined before the match starts. At least make it believable if you're going to win. Make it believable if you're going to lose. Create the illusion that it's a real wrestling match. Wrestling matches in days gone by used to be real, but they were boring. You know it, they were boring in the 70s. Boring. Until Vince McMahon became the game changer. I don't care what people think about Vince McMahon. He is a genius in his own right. And he elevated WWE to where it is today. I mean, even though now it's owned by Endeavor, you can't take anything away from Vince McMahon. He understood the psychology of wrestling. He understood the business aspect of it. He made more millionaires within the world of sports entertainment than any previous owners before him. So, the Eagles' offense didn't look the part for a team that had repeat title hopes. They finished the season 24th in total offense and 19th in scoring, with the defense largely contributing to the 11-6 record that helped them win a division title. Beyond the numbers, there were multiple instances of frustration when key members of the Eagles' offense. Wide receiver A.J. Brown expressed disappointment over his role in the offense earlier in the year because he wants to play. Brown, a running back Saquon Barkley, and wide receiver Devontae Smith all saw their numbers drop on a per-game basis in 2025 from 2024 because in 2024 they were allowed to be themselves. Now they became stifled with the new OC. Sometimes I think when they hire these people, they hire them because they're coming to sabotage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in a few seconds, I'm going to have to take another quick break. But I think that they're coming to sabotage the game and the infrastructure and the success of a team. As I said before, and I'm going to say it now, when you come back next season, Philly, Eagles, y'all better come back to win. Have a great season. Beyond the numbers, Philadelphia's offensive woes culminated in its loss, as I said, to San Francisco on Sunday. They put up 307 yards of total offense, with Hurt throwing for just 168 yards in the loss. So what are we going to do next season? You're going to come back with the mindset to win. That's what you're going to do. Because if they don't come back with the mindset, I'm going to close by saying this. Oops, my bad. From Reuters, the Philadelphia Eagles are moving on from Kevin Patullo as offense coordinator after the defending Super Bowl champions fell out of the playoffs in the wild card round. Sirianni made. Now listen, the Eagles finished 24th in the NFL in total offense, 311.2 yards per game, 23rd passing offense, 194.3 per game, and 19th in scoring offense, 22 point PPG, a lower point in Sirianni's 5-year tenure. They were held to 19 points and 307 total yards in a home loss to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday in the wild card round. They beat you in your own hometown. Patullo, who is 44, was the Eagles' pass game coordinator in 2021-2024 and was given the title of associate head coach for 2023-2024. Well, you got to go. That's it. Get your head in the game. Get ready for next season. Be back later on. Never surrender. Never quit.